How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Crypto Clout. We are, in fact, doing a Bitcoin giveaway on this channel. We've recently reached the milestone of 20,000 subscribers, so we're going to be doing something to celebrate this very important achievement. We're actually going to be giving away 0.1 Bitcoin on this channel. So all you have to do to qualify to win is actually be subscribed to the channel, and of course, just comment down below, including your Bitcoin wallet address. You could also contact us on the Snapchat, and we're actually including the Snapchat now in this giveaway. So if you guys want to contact us that way, that's equally as valid an option. So make sure that you add the Snapchat. Enough people requested that we create one, so there you go. Snapchat's on screen. Just just screenshot that and then scan it, and you can add us on Snapchat. But all that being said, today we're very excited to be talking about TRON TRX. And moving forward, I think that there's really a lot of exciting publicity around TRON. I think that the community that's built itself around this cryptocurrency is one of the most woke communities overall when it comes to thinking about how the future of this space is going to look. One of the fundamental things that I always enjoy talking about on here with people is the fact that we really have to look beyond the current situation of the market and start thinking in terms of 2020, start thinking in terms of even 2019. But my point is, we need to start thinking in futuristic terms, thinking about where this space is actually going to bring us as things continue to develop and move forward. And I think when I search TRON and we're looking at the different news articles regarding TRON, what will be the price of TRON in 5 years from now, according to Global Coin Report article from 7 hours ago. We're in July of 2018. We're more than halfway through of 2018, and we're moving right along well into 2017. And it's quite obvious things haven't been as bright and shiny as they were at the end of 2017, when we were seeing cryptocurrencies at their absolute all-time highs. But of course, this is a very volatile space, and we've seen a lot of different things happen. But of course, I'm very happy to see the progress that's been made. But I think TRON, moving forward, the way that they've positioned themselves in the context of them actually being a technology that's going to be playing a significant role as we move forward into the next phase of the mass adoption and so forth when it comes to what cryptocurrency actually offers society. I think the decentralized approach to media providing is really something that's going to be playing a significant role. Especially we see platforms like Facebook in decline. We see YouTube, sad to say, is making some decisions that aren't exactly in their best interests when it comes to the way that they treat their creators and the way that they interact with the base of consumers who are actually using the product. And I think that when it comes to TRON, it's really interesting to pay attention to the team that's working behind it. In particular, I'm very interested in seeing where Justin Sun brings us in the near future as things continue to develop. I think, when you really consider the way that Justin Sun is perceived and his celebrity and the way that his status has emerged over time, I think that he's really one of those one-of-a-kind Tom Brady type tech icons that are going to be bringing us into the next stage of the way that people are going to be interacting on the internet. I would say that the internet definitely is decentralized, and TRON really is one of those forward-thinking technologies that has a very interesting look ahead for it. And of course, seeing TRON at this number, at this obviously 3 cents, it is interesting for me. I've been paying attention to TRON since it came out. I think that it is interesting to see how these various different developments have been implemented across the board in multiple different ways. And personally, all of this is just my opinion, but I've seen this current situation and dynamic with the market being how it is as an opportunity to accumulate more of the technologies that I personally have done my research in and come to the conclusion that I could see them having a future for themselves. Obviously, standard disclaimer, this video is for entertainment, educational purposes only. The whole purpose of me making this content is just so that I could share my opinion. And of course, my opinions lead me down my own path, but I'd always recommend that you guys go and make your own decisions and do your own research and question my logic and question the logic of any other YouTuber out there who you're listening to on any topic, because at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own decisions. Obviously, I'm not your dad, and no other YouTuber on here is going to tell you any different. There's obviously, when it comes down to it, there's going to be sloppy days, and then there's going to be days when everybody's wishing that they were in the know when it comes to these things, and you were doing. So obviously, knowledge is power when it comes to cryptocurrency, which is why I always include a link to the Twitter as well down in the description. So if you guys are interested in connecting with us, you could do so very easily, of course. And all that being said, I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going to be happening with Tron. So far as it continues to move forward, I think Tron definitely has one of the strongest communities in the cryptocurrency space as it currently stands, and I'm definitely excited to be seeing where things are going to be moving from this point forward. So ultimately, I think Tron definitely does have some big things in store for it, especially when you take into consideration the fact that cryptocurrency is so early, and there's a lot of different variables that need to come together in accordance with the public shift and the way people are starting to talk about data in the light of the rise of the Internet of Things. A lot of very exciting things happening across the board involving cryptocurrency, and I think Tron is really doing a good job positioning themselves in the center of all that, and it's definitely one that I'm definitely paying attention to as I move forward into the next half of 2018. You really have to hand it to Tron. They definitely learned from a lot of mistakes that were made by EOS, and I think moving forward we're definitely going to see this sort of strategic maneuvering paying off for Tron as they move forward step by step. I have a lot of faith in Justin Sun. I really think that we're going to be seeing a lot of these different variables coming together in this light. I was reading this article right here that was exploring the community reaction to the Tron's mainnet launch, and in particular how it really outperformed that of the EOS. And it is interesting to see this sort of how smaller, lesser known altcoins that get less publicity have managed to outperform these leading really key players. It does say a lot about the potential that's in store, especially and respectively when you think about the decentralized approach that Tron's taking. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how these things move forward. So far, how's it going, everybody? My name is FaZe Crypto. Welcome to another episode of Crypto Clout. You can add us on Snapchat and just screenshot the snap code, and then you could stay in contact with us. We had enough requests for people who wanted that, so there you go. But anyways, this video is also a popularly requested video. A lot of people wanted us to talk about Tron. See, the thing that people don't realize is that my boys over at Tron, they're really hardworking. The men and women who work on these projects that are significantly smaller in comparison to EOS, well, they get less praise for all the work that they put in when EOS just gets all of this attention just completely injected into it, which ultimately I think Tron has really worked itself in a pressure vacuum of criticism, and we're starting to see Tron developing in a way that's really advantageous respectively across the board. I think what the team is doing, in particular, I'm paying attention to Justin Sun, paying attention to basically when people in the United States attempt to configure an understanding of projects like Tron, they fail to understand the reality of these personas like Justin Sun. See, he's a very major celebrity in places like his home country and so forth, which is a completely other has a completely other perception of celebrity. They really have they really value tech performance people, and Justin Sun is really one of those rock stars in that world. You see, in the United States, people value like football players and so forth, but Justin Sun is essentially a Tom Brady of the crypto world. So I'm really excited to be seeing how it's going to be performing in the near future, especially Tron's approach to the decentralization of the internet. I think that the future of the internet really has has no choice but to go more and more decentralized as we see these trends moving forward. I think cryptocurrency definitely has a really interesting place, respectively, as we see these developments continuing to take place. So a lot of really interesting things happening across the board when it comes to Tron. In particular, when you take a look at the market cap where it currently is at 272 billion, I mean, a little bit of an upward momentum happening right there. I mean, it is nice to see any movement upward is welcome in my book. Of course, it's a very volatile space, and those people who haven't been involved in cryptocurrency for as long as other people have might panic or might get too excited when they see things happening. I mean, interesting to see NEO where it is right now, up 17%. So anybody who was believing in NEO is probably seeing some celebrations today, and it is interesting to see how the cryptocurrency has been moving along, respectively, since we're almost we're more than halfway through 2018 now, so we're coming up to 2019, and it is interesting to see. Nobody could have predicted what happened up till this point, but I'm fairly confident that we'll be seeing the space revisiting those all-time highs at some point in the future. So right now, essentially everybody involved, everybody who is holding right now is a long-term holder, and really is those people who've just fallen in love with their own specifically chosen technologies, and we'll see where things go from here on out. So it is interesting to see how a lot of these developments have been taking place, respectively, as we've seen this space develop in such a short amount of time. It is really interesting to see how, because cryptocurrency really is a paradigm shift, and it's happening along with a lot of different technologies and the Internet of Things, and a lot of various different things need to come into order involving regulations and so forth, as we see these technologies really finding their place in the real world. But what I like to think about is what are these technologies actually going to be doing in the real world that's actually going to be having like a human, the way that people live in their day-to-day society. How are they going to be interacting with these technologies? And I think Tron, taking that approach that's sort of similar to Steemit, that essentially remodeling and learning from the mistakes of platforms like YouTube and so forth. And essentially, I think that as we see over the next couple of years, with what we saw happening to Facebook and so forth, I think that that path is laid out, unfortunately, for a lot of other social media platforms. Not to say that YouTube doesn't have the chance to save themselves. I think if they listen to their user base a little bit more, they'd probably have more potential. But of course, Tron, I think, is really positioning themselves to capitalize upon a lot of these different variables that we've seen shifting. So it is going to be an exciting couple of months that move us towards the end of 2018, the beginning of 2019.